and we are going to be talking about fucking Disney. That's what we are. We went to
where full, and then they were like,
see, Lola, so yeah, man. Today we are going to be talking about MegaCon.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, but who the hell cares about wildlife anyway?
Right.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Nerd Archive podcast. Another amazing week. My name is Lewis. With me always, Yadi, Justin, Lola, and today we have a special guest. You might see him on the chat. You might not. Sophisticated gentleman. How's it going, my guy?
It's going well. I'm honored to be here. I absolutely love the podcast, and so it's so incredibly exciting that you asked me to be on. I'm really honored.
And we are honored that you're here. I'm glad that we got the right Brian here today. I'm that douchebag that's always on the chat.
Oh, shots fired. The salt flows freely.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, talking about Ryan, we are going to listen to the previously on, and then we're going to let Ryan introduce himself. And then we're going to go on the quote of the week with Justin. So let's get this going.
What's going on, nerds? This is Ryan. Previously on the Nerd Archive podcast, I think I could speak for everyone when we say we found our new favorite Lewis. Then again, our old Lewis set the bar pretty low. I guess that's what you get when you order your Lewis off of PuertoRicanWish.com. Anyways, the nerds talked about Secret Invasion Episode 3. I don't know. I still haven't watched Secret Invasion, so I don't know what it is. Though Secret Invasion was the code name I used for my mission to hack into Lewis's computer and make it so he couldn't play Jedi Survivor. Then the nerds talked about their favorite Star Wars characters. Mine has to be Chewie, but only from the Christmas special. Then the nerds talked about their favorite villains. Mine would have to be Chewie from the Christmas special. And of course, Mufasa. And finally, they talked about how Lewis used to wear Echo gear, but couldn't because it had a 5-pointed crown on it. Now the only thing that Lewis owns with 5 points is his driver's license. Let's see what the nerds get into this week.
Thank you, Ryan. That was fantastic. You always know how to step it up a little bit. And today you did not disappoint.
It gets better and better every time.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate you, dude. Sophisticated gentleman, a.k.a. Ryan, the good Ryan. Tell us a little about yourself and what you do. You have your own podcast. Mm-hmm. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I actually got my start on the DizHiz side of things. I was a Patreon, and I made a few games for them. I appeared on a couple of episodes, and from there, I started doing some work with No New Friends podcast. And at a certain point, the host of that show, Scott, asked me if I'd be interested in doing a weekly segment, a weekly call-in, and that's kind of how my character of the Sophisticated Gentleman was born. I started to learn how to edit. I was asked to be a co-host of Remy's Roundtable, so I was able to do a lot of work there. And then I just started to start up my own podcast. So I now have a podcast called Cases of Continuity, where I dive into a different film or book or television franchise each season. And then I go episode by episode examining each book or each film in the series. So I am now 1 episode in. When this is released, I will be 2 episodes in. And I'm looking forward to continuing to expand. I'm going through the James Bond franchise now, so it's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
That does sound fantastic. So I'm going to... Where can they find your podcast?
Oh, thank you. They can listen to it on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify.
Perfect. So I'm going to be subscribing to that shit. Trust me.
Thank you.
Oh, no doubt.
All right. Let's get to the worst segment ever created. Which I hate that
it was bitter.
I hate that it was my fucking idea, but fuck this. Ryan or sophisticated. I know you're gonna get 2 points.
I'm scared. I'm really bad with quotes, man. I'm very scared. Set the bar low.
Fantastic. Let's go.
Hey, all right. Well, that's kindred spirits, I suppose, is how Lewis feels about that one.
Yay, someone worse
don't-
than me.
Don't let that motherfucker fool you. It's his favorite segment in the entire world.
Yes, because I love. There's nothing more that I love to be wrong.
That
Just
is
not
correct.
as many times.
So let's do
Consistently.
this shit.
That's right, everybody. Time to test the host's nerdy knowledge once again with this week's nerdy quote of the week. As always, I give the hosts one quote from a nerdy movie or television series, and they have to tell me who said it and where it came from. And this week's matches up with the general theme of the episode being Marvel, obviously in our first half. So we're going to go with a Marvel quote this week. So here we go. I'm made of rocks, as you can see, but don't let that intimidate you. You don't need to be afraid unless you're made of scissors. Just a little rock, paper, scissor joke for you.
Nice. That was a good one.
Good. That was good.
Let's let our guest go first.
I actually know this one. This is like a miracle. I can't believe I know this one. This is Korg, played by Taika Waititi in Thor Ragnarok from I think 2017.
Okie dokie.
God damn, he gave you the year. Who
All the
plays him?
details.
Yeah.
He totally nerded out on that one.
Extra point.
Love it. Love it.
that
All
movie.
right.
Fuck.
Lola.
Korg and Thor Ragnarok.
Awesome. Lewis.
Copy paste.
Say
Yeah.
it,
Nope.
motherfucker.
Doesn't work that way. Say it.
Korg in Thor Ragnarok.
All right. Yadi.
Korg, Thor, Ragnarok.
Nice. Everybody's guesses are in, and that quote was stated by Korg, everybody's lovable pile of rocks from Thor Ragnarok. And so everybody
Fantastic.
gets 2 points for that one. What was Ryan's guess again? I got half the chat.
I think he said Chewie from the Christmas special.
Of course. Of course.
Yep.
It's always the Christmas special, and it's always correct. So don't let them tell you different.
He's
All
always
right.
consistent.
Oh yeah.
I
Consistency.
thought it was
is
the
key.
holiday special.
I don't see holidays.
All right. That does it for this edition of Nerdy Quote of the Week. At the end of this round, the scores now stand at Lola still with a lead with 30 points. Yadi in second place with 24, and Lewis, as always, holding up the rear with 21 points. Hey, now you can drink.
Yo, I made it into the 20s, bro. I am
All
not
right.
answering first ever again.
You know damn well next week I'm going to make you answer first. So
New tactic.
don't get too don't get too comfortable. I'm gonna call on you first next time. So it's all good. So ends another edition of Nerdy Quote of the Week. Now on to our feature presentation. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Justin. Listen, this week we're going to be talking about, obviously, Secret Invasion, episode 4. It was a fantastic episode. That's going to be in the first segment. Second segment, updates on the writer and actors strike. It's getting ugly, and this is going to sound selfish, but the ones that are going to suffer the most from this is going to be the fans, because we won't get any new shows or movies. We're going to get a dry spell.
2020 again.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So, and that's a joke. We know that the ones that are suffering the most are the writers and actors. It's unfair what's happening. So if you want to know a little bit more, just wait until the second segment. And as of right now, Secret Invasion.
Oh my god.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and that is it. Segment 2.
No, yeah. Secret Invasion started out episode 4 started out crazy because it picked up right after Gaia got shot, and you see it holds on to her. The camera holds on to her for a while, and then all of a sudden you just see she starts to glow that extremis orange, and I'm like, fucking hell. And
Who called it?
I'm pretty sure that was you.
No, it was Yadi.
Oh, it was Yadi. Now, one of you two.
Yadi and I.
Yeah. I said that it was someone else. It was a scroll playing another scroll.
Scrollception.
Sounds about right. But yeah, no, yeah, you guys pretty much said that something's going to happen. She's going to come back. I didn't think it was going to happen the very next episode. So that
Right.
was
Yeah,
an
I thought
interesting
that she was
turn.
going to show up a little bit later,
Oh yeah,
like out of the blue in last episode, and
right. That's what I was thinking as well. It's like, okay, something.
I
You
think
know.
they're not wasting time.
No.
Like they're just going straight to the
yeah,
the
straight to the
point.
point.
Oh yeah,
Well, I think that might happen with Maria, if anything.
Right.
But I think the characters that are at play right now, if they're dead, they're not.
Right, because what made me think of that was, or what kind of solidified that that's what's going to happen is the fact that Rhodey made it a point to have a picture or a video of that moment to make sure that Fury doesn't get away with what he's doing,
Yeah,
Right.
which means that it was probably staged.
that's what I'm thinking.
Right. Ryan, what do you think?
There's just so many forces at play there, and obviously, I'm sure we'll talk about the big twist at the end of the episode. I felt like, and I've definitely been more critical of the show than y'all have. I did not care for episode 3. I just felt that the show really wasn't going anywhere. And then I really feel like episode 4 kicked it into high octane, immediately bringing back Amelia Clark guy at the beginning of the episode, and then immediately going into the situation with Rhodey, going directly into telling us what's happening with Fury's wife. Just these big reveals again and again and again. And I think that we're really ramping up for something to happen in episode 5, and I'm just not sure what it is.
Right. The episode's name is Beloved.
Beloved.
The previous episode was Betrayed, which we saw betrayal everywhere. But then on this one, we saw more of characters unifying and things that we thought they were betrayed, they were actually making up in this one. So I think that the episode starts with a interaction, or not right away, but with an interaction with Fury and his wife at a cafe talking about poems, and they cite a poem, which is very interesting because later on in the episode, when they have another interaction sitting at a table, they say the exact same thing. So that was pretty interesting that's how they started, and that's how they ended pretty much the episode too. So
full circle with a
yeah.
huge revelation between those two
right.
within that episode. It's crazy.
That whole scene threw me off because as soon as that happened, I'm like, we all know Nick Fury isn't going to die. So I immediately thought, obviously, what the first thing you think is that he killed her. But the fact that they both missed on purpose to show each other that they're on each other's side.
Mm.
Well, Lewis, you said that Nick Fury's not going to die. I think not now, but maybe in the finale. I think it's a possibility.
That is
A possibility, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I meant more in this scene. I knew that it would have been too easy. Would have been too easy. Unless he was a scroll playing another scroll. But so deja vu. What do you guys liked the most about this episode other than reveal after reveal? Because that's a given. Justin, take it.
Oh
Like you
man,
always
I mean,
do.
it's tough to say because there were so many hard hitting points, so many reveals, so many revelations, and honestly, I would say Gaia coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one for me, and right there at the beginning of the episode, which was shocking because, like I
Right.
said, we expected it to happen, just or suspected it would happen, but just not this quickly.
Right. The interaction between this interaction between Fury and Rhodey in the hotel room. That was one of my favorite interactions because even though it looks like Fury or Rhodey got the best of Fury, we know that it was Fury's plan all along.
Mhm.
And he gave him that drink, and immediately when he's talking to the president in a different scene, the president's like, "Did you drink before you got here?" And I'm like, "That's funny." So, and the whole time when Fury offers him a drink, Rhodey's like hesitant.
Oh yeah, like, do I got to worry about poison here?
So you can pour it out if you want and
Yeah.
get yourself a new one, but do you really want to do that to a 12-year-old Scotch?
And what's funny is he literally tells him what he put in the drink, but obviously, Rhodey thought it was a joke.
Right. The fact that they have liquid form trackers, that's
Well, I'm thinking nanomites maybe.
right.
Mhm.
It's already a thing in the MCU, so might as well.
Pretty
Right.
much.
And don't be surprised if it becomes a thing, like
Oh, yeah.
in real life, or if it is a thing already. Because one of those theories out in the world is that everything that we see in movies,
It's real.
it's real. They're just telling us, but to make it look like it's just fiction.
I hope
Well,
Green
I-
Fury
Lantern
was
was real.
saying.
I feel
You-
like it might also be like desensitizing the masses and then introducing it into the world.
Right.
But we've seen that. We've seen that in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Yadi?
Like Fury when he was just making it as a joke,
Right.
Mhm.
and that's
They-
what's gonna happen.
They literally did the same. Like what it's really happening, they did it in the episode.
Right.
So it's like, no, was that your dog? Is he drinking something, Lola?
He was. I'm
Okay.
surprised you heard it.
Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Yeah, every time I ask, your guys are like, no. And then this time,
I didn't hear a thing, but
It was
Oh.
extra loud today.
he's extra thirsty.
Right. Ryan, what do you think it's going to happen in the next episode?
I wouldn't be surprised if we find out where the real Rhodey is, because that is a big missing piece. What's happened to Rhodey between Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he's at that exhibit with Sam Wilson, and it's very clearly him, and then some years go by, and now he's been replaced by a Skrull. Is he a captive? I think that perhaps now that Fury has an idea of the truth, maybe he will try to find Rhodey, because he needs allies. He's got the president, and he's very much on the run. Gravik is after him. So I think that
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after trying to find Rhodey.
Right. That is a very fair point. I think that I didn't think of that, and I think that now that's a big possibility. That's a big possibility. Talos. That was interesting. The whole the whole scene right after the president tells Rhodey, "You smell like alcohol." They're driving away. Rhodey's in a different vehicle than the president, and he sends a signal. He is in vehicle 4 or whatever it is, 3, whatever, and this helicopter shows up and they get attacked. they get ambushed. We see the president upside down. And I'm like, damn. Who's going to get him out? Because obviously those are bulletproof windows. And here comes Talos. He's trying to break that window. And as he's doing that, he gets shot. But he is not giving up.
Oh no.
He makes sure that the president is out of there. However, we lose Talos.
We lose him.
I was
Right
gonna say loose
hopefully.
in a loose way.
Well, therein brings up another, Aaron brings another point is it's possible that
That's a scroll playing another scroll.
pretty much, yeah, that's one big possibility that it's somebody else taking the guise of Talos in his place. And so he's going to be majorly involved, I think, in either the next episode or the final episode. And then another theory that I have is because if it was actually because I'm wondering if it was actually the president that they pulled from that vehicle, or if it was the scroll disguised as the president. Because if it was the actual president, you would think that Gravik would be in a bit more of a situation where we need to get this guy because we need him, but he didn't. So I'm wondering if it was a ploy. The whole thing was a ploy to bring those two, Talos and Fury, out in the open to try and kill them.
Right. That's that's
I have a
awesome.
theory that this whole killing Thalos might have been what will push Gaia to like join Fury's side. I don't know if you guys have noticed that Gaia has been very in the middle. She's not with or without or either good or bad. She's just been completely in the middle the entire time. So I'm wondering if this is going to push her to like they're going to leave it as a permanent thing, a permanent death, and then have this push her to be, like I said, on Nick Fury's side and try to help her people.
I think I know where Justin's going with this.
Jumping off of that interaction between Talos and Gaia, I think she is 100% against Gravik, but she is still aggravated at her father for not taking the kind of stand that he should be taking, and so that pushed her to walk away. So
Right.
she's not on Gravik's side, but she
wanted to be on opposite side from her father.
That's what I'm saying. She's been in
Right.
the middle the entire time. So she's not with or against, but now she's going to have to choose
Right. But I think
before they
that
choose for her.
I think that Gravik shooting her in the last episode, I think that was enough. But I think
that did seal her decision. But
right. But I think that now it's personal.
Mhm.
Now it's more.
it's gonna be.
I'm not going to stop Gravik. I'm going to kill Gravik.
Also possible. Yeah.
And I think it was episode 1 or episode 2 of the breakdown that I said that we were going to see Talos and Gravik go at each other, and Talos was going to get that infusion and all that. But now it's more I see it more Gaia and Gravik fighting at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to see at the end of this season Avengers show up? Not the Avengers, but one or two, or one to help, other than what Ryan said of Rhodey showing up, the real
I was
one.
thinking maybe Captain America will make an appearance now that he's been dubbed Captain America, but I don't think so.
Now, maybe one, maybe two, like you
Mhm.
said, beyond Rhodey, because I figure we're going to get like another cameo beyond that, but it's tough to say. But they're based on what we've gotten so far with this episode, because if this episode is as big as it was, I think they're building up to an even bigger payoff at either the end, like towards the end of episode 5 or going into episode 6.
The
and I am
reason, good.
really, really anticipating something big.
Right. The reason why I say that is because we're talking about Disney, okay? And they're introducing new Avengers. They want to market those. They want to put them in your face. Like, these are the new Avengers, and you're gonna like them. So I think that it's gonna be more of a marketing strategy for future movies than actual part of the story. Like, do they need to be there? Probably not. But are they going to just to say here, this is what's gonna happen? What if we see someone that a new show is coming up next? You know what I mean? To bridge this into a new show, I can see that.
I think if anyone's going to show up, it would be Monica Rambeau to try to lead into the Marvels, because if Nick Fury is going to appear in the Marvels, Monica Rambeau already has that connection to the Skrulls from the end of WandaVision. So
Right.
I think if we're going to have any cameo, it could be her.
Right.
I was thinking of Vision too,
Yeah.
Why
just
Vision?
because of that show.
Actually,
Just because they wanted to introduce him, I guess, to the new thing.
yeah.
I'm surprised.
Um,
Going off a little bit off track, real quick before you say that, I'm surprised that they completely did not use him in um, Doctor Strange. But go ahead, Lola.
I was thinking maybe General Ross, being that we're dealing with the army and people in high places and all that stuff. Maybe a small, very small cameo just to show like, hey, they've already have him down, like, Harrison Ford is in the role and all that stuff. So maybe a lead up to that. I know the movie was supposed to come out, I think this year, end of this year,
I think it's beginning of next year.
beginning of next year, Thunderbolts.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe something along those lines.
I can see that because we have in the Thunderbolts we have characters that have only shown up in like smaller roles
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting their own movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to give them a whole movie without actually like giving
Showing
them
them
the
here and
spotlight.
there.
Right. Just like you said that Captain America might show up because Disney wants you to get used to
Mm-hmm.
him being Captain America.
Oh, no
So-
doubt. I think however they play this out, because like you said, this is Disney we're talking about.
Right.
And my opinion is however they play this out, however this goes, they need to do this right.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to wind up turning people away because then you have all this build up and then only for it to just fucking crash and burn.
Right.
And then you're not going to hold out much hope for the next series or the next movie that comes out.
Right. So, do you guys have anything else? Anything that we missed?
I wonder how they're gonna transition Rhodey's character after this.
Right.
With having Armor Wars, in the
That-
future. We don't know yet, but
That could be something that we might see in this
yeah.
because that's something that I'm definitely waiting for.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for that. So, I'm hoping that they talk about this. So,
Oh, no doubt.
if you guys don't have anything else, we're gonna go on a quick break, and then we're gonna let the other Ryan know that we are done talking. Done.
Don't.
We're done talking about Secret Invasion, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the writer and actor strike, because it became a actor strike as well. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Something like that. back to the Nerd Archive podcast. We just talked about the episode 4 of Secret Invasion, or as Ryan calls it, my wife at night with my butt. And not this Ryan. Ryan. I don't know. Okay. The less important Ryan. But he's back. Huh. What do you mean we have a new favorite Ryan? He's always been the favorite Ryan. Ryan.
He's so jealous. Calm down.
It's like you are the North Carolina wish, Ryan. Oh. What's up, Ian? Yeah, he likes to be stuck with. I don't know. English is hard. So, with that being said, we're going to be talking about the writers and actors strike. What is the latest that you guys have heard about this strike that is happening right now in LA?
Well, the last I heard that it had gone into full effect and the actors had joined in, and so you've got the full on SAG-AFTRA freaking strike going on, and it has unfortunately had the effect of putting practically everything on hold, including, unfortunately, it would seem Deadpool 3. So they've had to halt production on that as well as everything else.
It officially went on pause.
Yep.
3 days ago. So, Ryan, please go on strike. Whenever. Sophisticated, because I don't want to call you Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I know for a fact that when I told you we were going to talk about this, you did your research.
Mm-hmm.
So give us bullet points and details.
So the big things that I found is that these strikes are really related to two big modern problems. There's, of course, a lot of intricacies, but the two big things relate to streaming and artificial intelligence. Streaming based on the fact that the residuals from streaming really don't carry over to the writers and the actors. There was even a video from Sean Gunn, who famously played Kraglin, as well as was body double for Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy, brother of James Gunn, saying that from, I think it was Gilmore Girls he was in, he's seen very little money. Actors from Orange is the New Black, which is one of the most streamed series on Netflix, have, still had to work other jobs on top of that acting role at the time because of how little money they saw from it. The other big thing is artificial intelligence, using actors' performances and the actors getting very little or no money from it every time it's used. Artificial intelligence being used for writing. You talked about that in an episode about a month ago and how artificial intelligence is used. We saw that with the Secret Invasion title credits, which you guys also talked about. So your podcast has actually been quite prophetic in that sense. But those are really the two big modern issues that I've seen that the writers and actors have been talking about. And recently, even Disney CEO Robert Iger came out and talked about how he entirely disagrees with the strike. He mentioned that he feels that the writers and actors have been well compensated in his opinion, and that's just caused even more chaos. So there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and from what I can tell, this won't be ending anytime soon.
Yeah, it sucks that we were all like, Bob Iger's back. Yes. And then he releases that statement, and it made me want to like punch him in the fucking throat.
Pretty much. It really goes to show you how out of touch guys like him are, considering how much he makes for the position that he's in compared to some of these other folks that are, granted that, they're making a fair chunk of money, but in today's day and age, it's still like either barely enough or not enough to get by. It's like people can make freaking $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 and still live paycheck to paycheck. It sucks.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that yeah, you might, on paper, someone from Florida sees someone getting paid $80,000 a year. You're like, well, that's a good paycheck. But most of them live in LA, and that's nothing. That's middle class and low middle class.
Right.
And a lot of them are struggling to pay rent. And it baffles me that some people, that these people that work in productions that make millions, hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, and they're struggling to pay rent because someone brought up that I think it was Sean Gunn. He said that 20 years ago, the average pay gap between the writers and the CEOs of the production companies, such as Bob Iger, the difference was 20 times the gap, but right now it's about 400 times, and that is a big gap because you can make a statement however you want, but you're making that statement sitting on a yacht that these people paid for you,
Pretty much.
because without these people, you wouldn't have that. You can have the best actors in the world, because we've seen it in the past that you have movies with like 10 big name actors and they are trash because they spend so much money on the actors and barely any money on the writers, that the writing is trash. You're like, what the hell am I watching? How these 10 people are making this garbage ass movie? So that's why sometimes the best movies are the ones with, I hate to say it like this, but lower tier actors, because the writing is a lot better. And that has to change. That has to change if we want to continue to watch good movies. Because if you're not paying the writers enough, they're not going to do, it's going to happen. The same thing is going to happen at any other job. You don't pay your
They're going to
employees
go
enough.
elsewhere.
And not only that, because if they're all doing the same and they know that, they might stay there, but they're not going to give you 100% of what they can. So you're going to get garbage as writing because you're not paying them. But all they want to do is just make sure that they're keeping the investors happy and say fuck it to everything else.
Well, pretty much. At the end of the day, that's literally all they give a shit about. The ones at the top are just focused on keeping their shareholders, happy, and and their pockets lined.
Right.
And that honestly, that, like you said, it has to change. And I mean, with bad writing in movies, especially in a lot of the recent ones we've gotten, there are a number of other factors that go into that, but I think a big part of it is a lot of these people are not getting paid what they're worth, and they're either moving on to other places or other projects, or they're just not giving everything that they have, because they're not seeing the proper return on their investment, on the effort that they put in.
Right.
But I think it also, to be on the other side of the blade, right? I think that we have to look into first how much they're making currently, how much they're contributing to whatever show they're in, and you got to negotiate your contract too. So if they're signing a contract for a certain amount, knowing the job, that's also on them. You get to a job knowing how much you're going to get paid, and if you have a way to move up. So I don't think it's just on the people, because that's not the only industry that they're getting underpaid. There's a lot of other industries that people are
Right.
not getting paid how
Mhm.
much their worth is. But if you don't move your way around, it's on you too.
Right. But I agree with you, but I think the biggest issue is because they're unionized, right? So you have a union that pretty much they talk about all these, how much money that they're gonna make, and but if everyone is paying the same, you still got to work. So they're gonna take it, and they're gonna say, "Fuck, I'm not getting paid enough, so I got to work faster." So, but a lot of them are proud, and they know that even though that they're not getting paid, they still want to fucking Ryan. Yes, Ryan, I don't pay you. I'm so sorry. I don't pay myself either, so go fuck yourself. No, a lot of them, like I was saying, a lot of them are very proud, and they're still going to give you 100%. But for how long?
Pretty much.
So,
Pretty much. A lot of them find themselves in a position where, you know, based on what they're getting paid or what they're not getting paid, they're having to, like you said, find other jobs or work more than, you know, they actually should, and just pushing themselves to that point where they just burn out and they get sick of it. And, you know, you hate seeing, and that's the thing though, you and I, Lewis, we know that from experience with the shit that we deal with, because most people may not know Lewis and I have worked together in the past. And so, you know, we know that from experience, and it's just, you hate seeing people go through that,
right.
especially when they're not being paid what they should be making.
And kind of to Lewis's point, writing really can make or break the quality of any work. Like, there is clearly a big difference between 2015's Fantastic Four and the movie Get Out. And a lot of that is due to the writing, the quality of the script, and hopefully there's going to be a difference between that Fantastic Four and the upcoming one. The writers really do impact the quality of it, and I think that part of this is also showcasing how important writers are, because they're so behind the scenes. They're not the director's name, which is like the last name on the screen before the movie or the show starts. It's not the actors who you see headlining. They're very behind the scenes, and yet oftentimes they are some of, if not the most critical people in the production.
Exactly.
It's like the first Deadpool. In the beginning credits, when they're putting the names and stuff, it's in the beginning credits, it said the writers, the real heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as a joke, in the second one, they put the writers to assholes because they killed her off and whatever. But it shows that Ryan Reynolds is very in tune with the writers, because he's part of the writers union. So that right there shows that actors and writers are, not all the time, you have the bigger names that could care less, but there's some actors that still, like, they still want to help, they still want to be part of this, because they know that they understand. You give us a poorly written script, and doesn't matter how much skills I have, it's not gonna go well. It's
Pretty
not gonna
much.
make money. So
Well, weren't some writers mad because of the people that improvise too?
yeah,
That was a big one with Jenna Ortega on the set of Wednesday.
because she improvised a lot.
Yeah, she forced, I think, rewrites to the script because she was unhappy with how they wrote the character, and that was a big controversy.
Yeah.
So I find it funny that all these actors are advocating for the writers, but then again, they steal their jobs technically because they're improvising.
Right.
So I don't fully understand why they're so mad about that. I think the AI part of it, yes, it's something that it will steal their jobs for sure. But when when it comes to other actors advocating for writers, again, they're stealing their job because they're improvising because they're good at what they do. You know, that it seems funny to me. And some writers will make $300,000 a year. Who is that not enough? You know, like some others make 40,000. But again, how much they contribute to what they're writing for is
Right.
what I think they should be looked at. But you know,
No,
I
I completely understand your point. I completely get it. Also, to your point where some writers are they get upset with the actors because they improvise and all that. It depends on also what kind of relationship they have. Did the actor give the credit like did the actors say or talk to the writers before they did whatever they were going to do? Like I know it's
I think
improvising.
it's just in the moment, you know, like
Right. No, I know that, but the writers, would they get upset at Ryan Reynolds for doing it? And I just bring Ryan Reynolds because he's in the center of this.
probably not at him, but
Well, I
others.
mean,
Yes.
but that's the thing though. Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, you kind of expect that to happen because he's as good as at it as he is. So the writers kind of expect that. So they write it
Right.
in such a way that, I think it leaves more room for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that the bigger problem when it comes to improvising is what I think happens with Ryan Reynolds is that I don't think that he changes lines. I just think that there's some parts where there's no lines and he does something because
Mhm.
there's a silent and I'm gonna say something and if it sticks, it sticks. It's not like it said hello, how you doing? And he said, yo, what's up? So it I think it's changing the script is where the writers have an issue. If it wasn't written down and there's nothing going on in that part and he's improvised, then I think that's the difference. But I could be wrong. I'm no writer. I'm no actor. I'm
Yeah, and
just a
that's all
nerd.
depends on the producer and all that stuff, and directors and whatnot if they
Mm,
allow those stuff. So,
right. Like
and
I
he's
said,
usually one of those in whatever he's on.
right.
So,
Well, it makes sense in that case. Like, like you said with Ryan Reynolds, it's like he's not making massive changes to the script and doing, he's just like adding little bits and pieces in there where like he feels like it should. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whereby like that, contrasting that with a guy like Edward Norton, who is like notoriously difficult to work with and
Right.
makes consistently massive changes and has to have things done his way
Right.
on pretty much every movie that he makes. Whether it was stuff like Fight Club or even on The Incredible Hulk.
Right.
And it's a massive part of why they did not use him after that movie. And they gave it to, I'm having a brain lag. What
Mark
the fuck
Ruffalo.
yes, Mark Ruffalo. And so, and that's the thing. I'm actually in that sense, I'm glad they gave it to Mark Ruffalo. I wasn't sure about him at first, but he's taken off with that character,
Right.
and so you don't really see anybody else at this point as the Hulk but him. But if guys like Edward Norton hadn't been the way he was, maybe we'd still have him.
Right.
But there's there's two different sides to that. You've got guys like Ryan Reynolds who just do like little add-ins and minor alterations and things, and then you've got those that just completely flip the whole fucking thing on its head. And so therein lies the point where the writers and them will get extremely pissed off. That it's just like this literally is becoming nothing like what I originally envisioned.
Right. No,
it's
and
like when you get hired for a job,
Mhm.
but you're doing the other person's job just to, you know, take over or whatever.
right. When you kick them off the line to do their job because they're not
I can do this myself, you know.
right because you think you're better. Right.
It's like the kid in the school group meeting or like the group project who doesn't trust the other kids and just like does the whole
Does the
PowerPoint
whole
or whatever.
thing.
Yeah, it's a kid always named Irwin. Irwin. So Ryan in the chat points out that did you know that Aladdin couldn't be nominated for best writing when it came out because Robin Williams improvised most of his lines. and yes, it didn't get nominated because at the end of the day, it wasn't like the majority of the lines were not written. So that's why it wasn't nominated. But it makes you even it makes you think and look more like shit. It's impressive that
Mhm.
fucking movie was so amazing, and the most quotable parts of this movie are literally the genie, and most of them were improvised.
Oh
So
yeah. And it makes you wonder though, like going into that, did they tell him,
just do you
just go with it?
right. It's like I rather make an awesome bum ass movie and not get nominated, but I want everyone to enjoy it. So
I'm just imagining for Aladdin, they hand Robin Williams a piece of paper and it's just blank. He's like, "What the hell is this, dude? This is
Right.
your script. We're just recording you in the lunchroom. We just want to hear what you say." And then they use that in the movie.
I with Robin Williams, I can see that.
Oh, of course. I imagine they would at least give him like some ideas of how the character should be, but you're still giving him the reins to kind of take it in the direction that he wants to take it. And more often than not, it works.
Right. Right. Um, Ryan or Sophisticated, do you have any more?
Yeah, I guess just the last thing that I kind of had that I looked up was, when are we going to see these impacts? Because right now, in my opinion, we're in one of the most exciting summer movie seasons that we've ever had, with movies like Oppenheimer, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Across the Spider-Verse, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, etc. And we're going to have a dry spell come up. And so I was curious when, and I saw an interview from the CEO of AMC, the theaters, and he said that 2023, we're going to be fine. There's really not going to be any major changes. We'll see the Marvels, we'll see Kraven the Hunter, Blue Beetle, all that stuff come out. And even a lot of 2024 won't be affected because a lot of those movies are in post-production. He was saying like near the middle to the end of 2024, and then 2025 is where we're really going to see this impact. So I'm curious if a lot of the studios are going to rush to complete productions, and if we're going to have some really disappointing releases, or if we're just going to have a dry spell where there's just some really disappointing movies that come out, and that's kind of it. So I'm kind of curious to see how this impacts things a couple years down the line.
Right.
I would hope that they don't let this dry spell force them to rush production on any of this stuff, because that obviously, like you were saying, is going to lead to some really, really terrible shit coming out. And it's the last thing that you want to happen, because it's gonna leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And yeah, you don't want to see those kind of effects.
Right. Before we move on to the last segment, I love talking about AI. They have two issues, the writers and the actors. They have two issues with the AI in taking their jobs. The first one is obviously the not ChatGPT, but to that effect, writing scripts and things like that, and also that the actors will go through a scan and their faces are going to be scanned, and the studios are going to own those rights, so they get paid once for that and they can use them forever. And
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna change.
yeah,
That seems
Well, it
fucked up.
has. It has to, and I can understand. I can understand using stuff like that, like later on in the actor's life when they're older, and then they're wanting to do some flashbacks of like a younger version of the actor, where the old, like the present version of can't like physically do it anymore. That I get, but if you're gonna do that to try and replace like current performances and things like that, I don't see that going over well.
yeah, no, I think that if they are planning to do that, I think that royalties is the best way to go. Um, but I don't know. Again, I'm not an actor. I'm not a writer. I'm just a scroll playing another scroll. I don't know.
And if you are wondering if this is gonna affect video games actors and voice actors and writers on those games, I've read that is not, because
It's not. It's gonna
it,
be
it is a different like another whatever, another type of union, and is a non-strike union. So
it's a different business. It's a different type
Mhm.
of business. So it's I'm glad, but at the same time, I hope that this gets resolved quickly. I did see that a head of a studio said that, oh, this is not gonna go for long because we're gonna stretch it out until they can't pay their own rent. And saying shit like that, it shows your true colors.
Pretty much.
Like giving them a shitty contract is one thing because you want to save money. You can say that bottom line. I want to see the bottom line. I want to see more money. But when you say comments like that, that dude, you're doing this on purpose, and you want to see them hurt,
Mhm.
and that's fucked up. I hope that I don't know who it was, but I hope whoever said that is you want them to hurt and not get paid. I hope that for saying that, you are the one that gets thrown out.
Exactly. I'm curious to know who it was. Like not in the respect, because I'm not one of those people that would like that whole brigading thing. You get that out of the way right now. I don't like that. But when you say things like that and you're threatening people's living situation and basically threatening to make people homeless because they're bitching about not getting paid enough, that no. I want to see this person get the axe in their place, because
Right.
that's not right.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about it, if I had the money to say it, like anybody with money will say that because they're not gonna be in that position.
Right.
Yeah, they
Even
can't
if they get
empathize.
right, even if they get canned, they probably have enough money to either wait until they have another job or just retire.
Pretty much. It depends on the position they were in and how much money they made.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
they can just be dumbasses that they got the spotlight and made a mistake because we've seen it happen before.
Hmm.
So, all right. So, if you guys don't have anything else, we're going to go on a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have Lola's theories and Would You Rather. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. Please don't go.
You better not.
That's going to be a staple now. I'm going to say that every time. we are back with the Nerd Archive podcast, and we have Sophisticated here, aka Ryan.
And call him
Yeah,
Sophisticated Ryan.
Sophisticated Ryan. Just by calling him gentleman, he's completely different from the other Ryan. All right, so for all that I have been waiting for. That's a quote from Deadpool. Lola's theories and would you rather. Take it away, please.
Okay, first theory. E.T. is a Sith Lord, apparently.
You said
theory-
E.T.?
E.T.,
Okay.
the little alien that we see
Mm.
in the movies, in the Star Wars movies as well, is a Sith Lord. And the theory comes from the fact that E.T. uses telekinesis and healing, which suggests he might be a Jedi, but later turns evil when he controls Elliot and also has apparently the power over death. I don't know about that. I've never seen the movie. Suggesting he's more in line with the Sith. Bite me. Never seen
Was
it. Probably never will.
Wasn't he in like a scene of Star Wars?
Yep.
Yes. So that they are using that scene to support the theory of E.T. specifically being a Sith Lord.
Damn.
Hold up. So if
Yeah.
ET has power over death, does that make him God?
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Interesting.
Never seen E.T., Ryan. I'm sorry. The second theory is that from the Matrix, Zion is not our real world. It's not the real world. And that Morpheus is a program used to find protesters. Essentially, what the theory is saying that the city of Zion is essentially where they gather all the protesters to put them back into the Matrix.
There's another theory that Zion is another part of the Matrix to trick them into thinking that they are free.
It's like
It
Inception.
also makes sense. Kind of, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Scroll
the
playing another scroll, you know?
the theory that I read was them saying those exact same words of like Zion is just a second layer of the Matrix. Basically, Morpheus
Like an
is
expansion pack.
Like an expansion pack. Morpheus is sent out to find all the protesters. Once they're on the real world, because they're all gathered, so it's easier to track them down.
Right.
They send the machines put them back in, and then either gives them new lives or just erases what they thought were memories from Zion.
Part of the theory that Zion is a false reality
Mm-hmm.
is that the reason Neo is sent is to make them think that he is there to free them completely.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, in the first movie, Agent Smith calls him a false prophet, like he's not real, and it's like a hint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So
Yeah. I really like this Zion one.
yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
Okay, would you rather? You guys ready?
ready.
Okay. Psychically force people to tell you the truth but become incapable of lying yourself. Or shapeshift, but every time you do it, you experience intense pain from your body tearing and repairing itself apart.
Shape shifting.
Shape-shifting? You want to be able to lie?
Yes, because if you shapeshift and you can't lie, then you tell everybody that you're a shapeshifter. Full circle. All right. Yes. Shapeshifting.
Shape-shifting?
Right.
Okay. Just Brian?
Also shape shifting for me.
Ah.
I feel nothing every day anyway, so
What about you, Justin?
That's a bit of a tough one.
Thoughts, concerns, opinions?
Gotta think about it, really. It's It's an interesting one. I mean, I try to tell the truth as often as I can, but certain circumstances, I suppose. So I think I I'd go with the shapeshifting as well.
You guys are lame. Okay.
Like, to me, it's not the
That's fair.
lying part. It's just becoming somebody else. That's scroll.
Yeah, but it's gonna be extremely
Scroll, it's being a
painful.
scroll,
It's
being
not
another
gonna be
scroll.
like
This
the
is
scrolls
this
where you're one
Tylenol.
person and then another one. It's gonna be like
There's
the
drugs for
scroll
that.
changing and then immense pain in between.
There's
But my
pain
joints
drugs.
already hurt, so
Joints is not the same as a full like bone structure moving.
So basically, you feel like your body is ripping itself
It's
apart.
ripping itself apart and then pulling itself back together.
And no
That's
pain, no
fine.
gain.
Think of also true. That's great. Think of a polyjuice potion every time they wince a little bit, but like times 1,000, because you're getting changed completely.
That's
sounds,
okay.
sounds painful, but I'll take it.
Nothing that a little ibuprofen can do.
Yeah.
So you drug yourself up before you shapeshift.
Yeah, pretty
Or
much.
just take 9 shots of vodka
Vodka.
before you do it. You'll be okay.
We the best shapeshifter.
Oh, nice
There it is.
callback.
There it is. Do you have anything else?
Nah.
Nah. All right. So before we go anywhere, I know that Sophisticated told us where you can find his podcast and all that, but can you let our viewers know again, just in case someone just joined our live feed?
Yeah, thank you, Lewis. So my podcast is called Cases of Continuity. You can stream it on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts.
Perfect. I will be posting a link down below for you to find it. If you're interested, if you're not interested, hit play. Don't be an asshole.
If you're not interested yet, you will be.
Correct. Dude. Okay.
Speaking of
I'm gonna-
assholes, how's his butthole on your face?
I don't know. I'm not Scott.
Oh,
All right, so this concludes our episode. Make sure you go on our website, thenerdarchive.com. If you want to find all of our episodes, you can literally just find them all on the website. Listen to all of them on the website as well. Also, if you are looking for cool nerdy merch, make sure you go on there on the shop tab, and on the screen you'll see some examples. Perfect. That was me putting them on the screen. And then make sure you go on all of our social media. If you want to connect with us, make sure you go on Discord. And
Click all the things.
thank you, sir. Everything is down below in the description. If you guys want to, I don't know, ask the archive, which
There is a question.
I know. I was just thinking about that. Let's make that real quick. And okay. This was actually by Sophisticated. I'm going to read your own because I want to know exactly what you're going to say. If you could erase any character from the story of any series, which would it be?
my personally one would probably be Dodo Chapman from Doctor Who. Very irritating character, completely useless to the plot.
That's a good one. Jay. Ryan, he will stand by his answer. He answered the question. He said, Lewis from the Nerd Archive podcast. Fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Ray.
Ray Skywalker.
No, fuck you, Ray Palpatine.
Yadi.
Hey, she had a choice. She chose the last name. Just to piss you. Well, not. It's not gonna piss you guys off, but it would change the whole everything of Star Wars. I would choose to erase Darth Maul because listen, because maybe without him, this guy wouldn't have died. Qui-Gon,
Qui-Gon.
and then Darth Vader wouldn't be a thing, and then we wouldn't have all these stories. Do you like that?
You chose violence today, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean,
Well,
what if
you know
someone
what?
new, someone new can rise in his place? Instead of Darth Maul, we could get like Darth Shopping Center or something.
That's
Nice.
to-dun.
Nice.
With that being said, Lola, please follow up with that joke.
I don't have one, but I can say Harry Potter because I'm feeling chaotic.
Oh, you chose violence today too.
Chaos, not violence.
Well, sometimes they go hand in hand.
They sure do.
I choose.
You.
I choose Meg from Family Guy. Yeah, no. I don't know. Can I choose one of the Ryans?
One of the Ryans? You're acting like there's an option between the Ryans? Like there's a choice?
There is a choice,
I mean-
the right choice, which is the one that I'm erasing is Ryan. I'm not even gonna try pronounce his last name.
That's not even his last name, I think, on there.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. It's just because he chose Mufasa from Lion King.
Are you erasing him from Nerd Archive? Are you erasing him from all of the Creators Club?
I'm erasing him from like anything.
Damn.
That's his
Chose-
alter ego.
Who chose violence now? They say turnabout is fair play.
All right. Thank you guys for your answers. I don't think we have another one. Actually, we do. Justin asked one. If you can play only let's try that again. If you could only play games from one publisher for the rest of your life, which would you pick and why? I was not ready for this.
It really makes some people think, but it honestly it's an easy answer for me. It's Nintendo, 100%.
I can see that.
I mean, to be honest, they've consistently created some of the best games in the world, and they've told some of the best stories. And I mean, there are other good publishers out there that tell some really good stories, but honestly, like none of them have the kind of history, in my opinion, that Nintendo does. And they've
Right.
got so many good franchises to choose from. So, I mean, I think really giving yourself the most benefit with Nintendo.
I can see that.
I mean, I already play most of the games from one place, and I would choose Activision.
Wow. He chose violence today.
A
Lola,
little bit.
what do you think?
Whoever
Ryan
does
said Konami. Just to piss Justin off.
whoever publishes Assassin's Creed, which I
Ubisoft.
think is Ubisoft.
Yep.
Yep, I was gonna pick Ubisoft because either that or 2K because I have never. Okay, I'm gonna retract that. I have had disappointment, but no, Lola, because Assassin's Creed Ubisoft.
Mhm.
Isn't 2K EA? Is that EA or?
No,
No,
2K is 2K.
pretty much.
I
And
don't see them.
Ryan,
I don't-
and Ryan, yes, everybody has their own opinions, even if yours is wrong. So
Oh, actually,
Blizzard,
Bethesda's
Blizzard.
really good too.
Yes,
Which
Yeah.
one?
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
En su casa lo conoce.
Fallout.
Ha! I never played it, so
It's Microsoft now, but so 2K, because a lot of my greatest memories of playing video games that had playing hours and hours and hours and hours was 2K when it was good. So I can sit there and just play it for eternity. And Sophisticated, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm really not much of a gamer, honestly. That's kind of the style of nerdom that I really don't delve too much into. But I guess I'll choose Nintendo because Matt from Wii Sports is pretty awesome.
The notorious, the infamous Matt from Wii Sports.
All right, so all the answers are in. Fantastic. Appreciate you guys. All right, so if you guys don't have anything else, this ends our episode. Thank you, Sophisticated, for being here with us. And on behalf of Yadi, Lewis, Lola, and Justin, this was the Nerd Archive podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, and thank you, that thing on the chat, Ryan. Yeah, that's yeah. And Ian, also, thank you for stopping by, dude. See you guys.
Peace
Okay,
out.
bye.
Bye.